A very good morning to you all. I'm Bhavika and I welcome you all from our Knowledge Transmission Center. Today let's talk about our product Glycacare. Glycacare is specially formulated to help us maintain our blood sugar level. So before starting with the session, let me all remind you that this session is registered under copyright, so no violation will be tolerated. Glycacare. Glycacare supports healthy blood sugar level. When we talk about blood sugar, we usually relate it to the condition called diabetes. So what is diabetes? Diabetes is a chronic disease or a disorder that occurs either when the pancreas do not produce enough of insulin. Insulin is an hormone that helps us to maintain our blood sugar level. So when the pancreas do not produce enough insulin, or when the body cannot effectively use the insulin, it produces diabetes occur. Diabetes is a serious condition. Every person we know, probably one or two people in them are suffering from or are diagnosed from diabetes. So diabetes is a serious condition. Even according to the WHO report, in the year over 10 crore people were diagnosed with diabetes, and in the year of 2014 the number has increased more than 40 crore. Now we know it's 2018, so we can estimate the more increase in the number. So diabetes is a serious condition. So what are the causes for diabetes? Diabetes usually occurs if because of obesity, or if we do not practice healthy lifestyle, or we do not eat good healthy food, if we follow unhealthy diet, or if there is a sedentary lifestyle that we follow, then diabetes may occur. In developed countries above the age of retirement, people are diagnosed with diabetes or are prone to diabetes. In developing countries like India, people aged between 35 and 64 are more likely to get diabetes or are diagnosed with diabetes. So what is diabetes? Why does diabetes occur? So I've already told you, diabetes is when there is increase in blood sugar level. Let us understand with a simple graph. When the glucose comes in contact with the blood, the cells in our body, it gets transported inside the cells in our body. Each cell has a certain capacity to allow glucose inside them. Let us say there is a room which can occupy about 40 to 50 people. What if there is more number of people trying to enter the room? Will the room be able to occupy so many number of people? Let's say about 200 number of people? No. It's the same with every cell in our body. it has certain capacity to allow glucose inside them to utilize them for energy purpose. So, once the glucose have already entered the cell, the rest of the glucose circulate in the blood system. So, when we utilize the energy in the form of physical activity, the cells slowly start using the cells slowly start using the energy, and it makes more room for glucose to enter. So, the glucose that is circulating in our blood again has more room to get inside the or is transported inside the cell. This way we maintain our blood sugar level. When there is an increase in blood sugar level, then diabetes occur. So, how do we estimate, how do we know that our body has enough of blood sugar level, whether it is low or whether it is high? This table shows us exactly, it gives us the value of how much of blood glucose is present in our body and how we categorize them. Even during fasting state, if our blood glucose level is between 70 to 100, we consider that person to be normal. If it is less than 140, that is postprandial, that is after eating after if you check your blood glucose level after 2 hours of eating, if it is less than 140, we consider that person to be normal. In the fasting state, if it is between 101 to 126, then we term it as early stage, that is pre-diabetic state, and in postprandial, if it is between 140 to 200, that is when we categorize those people to be in pre-diabetic state. We call a person diabetic if during fasting stage his blood glucose level is above 126 mg per dl, and in postprandial if it is above 200, then we call that person to be diabetic. So, this is how we categorize if a person is normal, if a person is diabetic, or if he is in a pre-diabetic state. Fasting state is usually when when a body has already taken the food has already been taken, it has been digested and absorbed. After that, when there is a gap, let us say after dinner to the breakfast time, our body is in a fasting state, because during that period of time there is no form of energy that is getting inside our body. So, this is when we call it as fasting stage, and that is why even when you go for to test for your blood sugar level, they usually ask you to come early in the morning before you consume your breakfast, so that they could also get your fasting blood sugar level. And after consuming food, after 2 hours of consuming food, again they test your blood sugar to see whether to check for the value for postprandial blood glucose level. Let us understand the important factors about blood sugar. Glucose. Glucose is a simple sugar, and it is one of the primary molecules which serve as an energy source for us. Insulin is an hormone that is produced by the beta cells of pancreas that helps in maintaining the blood glucose level. When we talk about diabetes, we usually talk about glucose and insulin. So, what are different types of diabetes? Diabetes are of different types, like type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is called as insulin dependent diabetes. This is where a person requires daily administration of insulin. When the pancreas do not produce insulin, then it requires a daily administration of insulin in an individual. Type 2 diabetes is result from when the body is ineffective in use of insulin that has already been produced by the pancreas. When the cells in our body are incapable of accepting the insulin or the use of glucose, then we term it as type 2 diabetes. It is usually seen in people who have excess body weight and are physically inactive. So type 2 diabetes is when, you know, I have already mentioned, it can be due to obesity, it can also be due to unhealthy dietary practice or lifestyle practice. Another type of diabetes is gestational diabetes. Gestational diabetes usually occur in a pregnant woman, and this condition usually subside after post pregnancy, but women who are diagnosed with gestational diabetes are more prone to get type 2 diabetes in later stage. It is the same when it comes to impaired glucose tolerance. Even in impaired glucose tolerance, a person's blood sugar level is high, but it is not so high that we can call him a diabetic person. A person with high sugar level, but not as it's not so much that, you know, we can call him as diabetic. He is prone to again get you know, type 2 diabetes, and people with impaired glucose tolerance are at high risk of getting type 2 diabetes and are are also prone to get cardiovascular diseases. So Glycacare, you know, insulin helps control blood glucose level by signaling the liver and muscle and fat cells to take glucose from the blood. Therefore, it helps cells to take in glucose to be used for the energy purpose. When there is enough of glucose in our blood, the liver, the body has a sufficient energy, you know, if there is enough of glucose in the blood, the insulin signals the liver to make use of that glucose and store it in the form of glycogen. So when a body is in need of energy, let's say during fasting state, or if we skip our breakfast or any other larger meal, this liver releases this glycogen to be used as an energy source. So this is how, you know, our body is still able to sustain even if we do not eat, even if we skip our meals, or even if we do not eat a meal, or if we do not eat a meal on a particular day. The liver that already stores the glucose in the form of glycogen is released into the blood cell so that it could be used in the as an energy source. So what are the symptoms of diabetic? A diabetic person usually has symptoms including polyuria, that is excessive excretion of urine, polydipsia, excessive thirst, and excessive hunger, that is constant hunger, which is called as polyphagia. These three symptoms are usually seen in an diabetic person. There is weight loss, there is also vision change and tiredness that is seen. Common consequences of diabetes. Diabetes can damage the heart, it can damage our blood vessels, it can damage our eyes, kidneys and nerve system. That is why they usually say that diabetes is a metabolic condition. Diabetes is not only when the blood glucose level increases, but because of the increase in blood glucose level, it can cause damage to the other organs in our body or to the other parts in our body. Hence, diabetic is a complicated condition and it has to be well managed. A diabetic patient should always know how to maintain his blood glucose level. How does he maintain his blood glucose level? By practicing eating healthy diet, practicing eating healthy food, by increasing his physical activity, by practicing good lifestyle habits, along with that by taking a right kind of supplement. Glycacare is carefully formulated for this purpose, so that a diabetic person can take Glycacare as a supplement and manage his blood glucose level. Glycacare provides effective ingredients to support normal blood sugar level when combined with a healthy diet and lifestyle. Glycacare is carefully formulated to have these ingredients present. These are all natural ingredients, these are all the dietary extract that has been used in Glycacare, which helps in normalizing our blood glucose level. First is momadicin. Momadicin is basically the bitter gourd. The de-seeded fruit of the bitter gourd has been used in this product. The de-seeded fruit is basically when you remove all the seeds from the bitter gourd, and then the fruit that is remained is being used in this product. Second is cinnamon. The bark of cinnamon has been used in this product. Third is silbenol. Silbenol is a registered trademark of Sabinsa Corporation. The stem bark of silbenol has been the stem bark has been used in this product. The fourth one is the fourth one is Gymnema sylvestra. It is a leaf, so the leaf has been used. And then is Celesia reticulata, the root bark of Celesia reticulata, and the fruit, that is Eugenia jambolana, has been used in this product. All these ingredients show an excellent result in helping us normalize our blood glucose level. When all these ingredients have been used in one product, it has a unique formulation, hence it shows a good result. Only when the suggested usage is, you need to take one tablet daily for 30 minutes before the food. With your medication, if you are a diabetic, if you are already taking a medication, along with the medication, this supplement should be used. One tablet should be used, that is before 30 minutes before eating your food. Let's talk about each ingredients in detail. First is momadicin. I have already told you, momadicin is basically the de-seeded fruit of bitter gourd has been used in this product. Towards your right hand side, you can see the picture, you can see the image of this vegetable, so that you get an idea on exactly what is bitter gourd if you are confused. Some studies show that the extract helps us to improve glucose tolerance. It also reduces our blood sugar level. It not only helps in tolerating our glucose, but it also helps in reducing our blood sugar level. Also, it has an excellent role in lowering HbA1c in people with type 2 diabetes. HbA1c, I am pretty sure people with diabetes, or almost people, every one of us have seen or I've seen this term in the reports. HbA1c is basically called as glycated hemoglobin. When the glucose get attached to the protein part of RBC, that is hemoglobin, we call that as glycated hemoglobin. HbA1c is an indicator to show the average level of blood glucose in a period of, let's say, 80 to 120 days. Why 80 to 120 days? RBC has a life of about 80 to 120 days. So, during this period, we can estimate the average level of glucose in our blood. This is an excellent indicator to see whether a person's blood sugar level is normal or whether a person's blood sugar level is high or low. Usually people have a, a diabetic person have a tendency to, eat a healthy food or exercise, for a period of 2 to 3 days before going for his blood checkup to test for his glucose level. So, they they are very smart. 3 days or 4 days before going for the checkup, they follow a very healthy diet, they go for exercise, so that the blood glucose level does not increase and it does not show on the report. but because of HbA1c indicator, we can easily estimate the glucose level in the period of 3 to 4 months, that is 80 to 120 days. In that period we can estimate how much of blood, how much of glucose is present in our blood. So, momodicine has a ability to lower at HbA1c level. Next is cinnamon. Cinnamon, we all know, is an Indian, it's a spice that is commonly used in Indian delicacies. Cinnamon has many clinical trials that show that cinnamon extract as significantly reduces HbA1c and fasting blood sugar level. We have already seen the table and seen how much a normal fasting blood sugar level should be. If it's higher, then cinnamon has an ability to reduce our fasting blood sugar level in a diabetic person. Third is silbenol. Silbenol, like I told you, is our registered trademark of Sabinsa Corporation. It has been standardized. It's is standardized for it has been standardized to contain ingredients that helps in normalizing a blood glucose level. It has the heartwood and bark of Pterocarpus marsupium has been used. It's called as Indian quinol, and it's useful in maintaining healthy blood sugar and cholesterol level. So, Pterocarpus marsupium, that is silbenol, has two active ingredients. First is epacatechin. Epacatechin is the comparative study of epacatechin and insulin confirmed the similarity between these two compounds. They happen to have similar structure, therefore they show a similar effect on our blood glucose level. They both exert protective effect, stimulates glucose uptake in this fat cell, and at the simultaneously help in increasing the glucose uptake. So, epacatechin has a similar structure of insulin, hence they have similar action, that is basically to help intake of glucose uptake in the fat cells and simultaneously increase the glucose uptake. Second active ingredient is marsupium. Marsupium and pterostilbene they have similar effect like metformin. Metformin, we all know, is an oral hypoglycemic agent. So, these two ingredients, active ingredients, show a role exactly as metformin, and they may have insulin like effects of on several tissues by suppressing hepatogluconeogenesis and increasing glycolysis. So, what they have, they have an important role to play in suppressing hepatic gluconeogenesis. What is gluconeogenesis? Gluconeogenesis basically synthesis of glucose by non-carbohydrate source. So, it helps in suppressing the synthesis of glucose by non-carbohydrate source by the liver hepatic region and stimulates glycolysis, helps in breaking down of glucose. It inhibits glucose absorption from the intestine or acting by other mechanism. This way there is not enough of high level of glucose in the blood, therefore it helps in maintaining a blood glucose level. Fourth active ingredient in our product is Gymnema sylvestra. Gymnema extract supports the normal functioning of the beta cells of the pancreas, which secretes insulin and helps to optimize blood glucose level. I have already told you insulin is produced by beta cells of pancreas. So, they have the support, they support in normal functioning of the beta cells of the pancreas, and it helps in optimizing blood sugar level. The name Gumar means destroyer of sugar. So, Gymnema sylvestra is also known as Gumar, that means destroyer of sugar. Next is fifth one is Celestia reticulata. Celestia reticulata is basically the root bark of Celestia reticulata has been used in this ingredient, and it helps in supporting the lower blood sugar level. It provides active ingredients which support the inhibition of alpha glucosidase from the intestinal brush border. It helps in inhibiting alpha glucosidase. Alpha glucosidase is an enzyme that's increases, that stimulates breakdown of complex carbohydrate. Because it stimulates breakdown of complex carbohydrates very fast, this active ingredient suppresses the inhibition of alpha glucosidase, so that the action, it slows down the action of breaking down of carbohydrate into monosaccharide. This way we can maintain a blood glucose level and not allow it to spike up, increase or spike up easily, because usually diabetic person, they tend to, after eating their meal, their glucose level tend to shoot up easily. So, to avoid that, Celestia reticulata plays an important role. Let us understand this graph. So, when a diabetic person consumes food, if blood sugar level is very high, then there are chances that is the blood glucose drastically spikes up, it shoots up easily, and at the same simultaneously it shoots down after a while. Which is not good, especially in a diabetic person after eating food, because our sugar level shouldn't drastically rise and drastically go down. It can cause many health effects. Instead, our blood glucose level should slowly, gradually increase and gradually decrease, which is what this graph talks about. And Celestia reticulata has a property of inducing, helps in maintaining a blood glucose level. After eating food, it makes sure that our blood glucose slowly, gradually increases and then gradually falls down. Last but also an important ingredient is Eugenia jambolana, jamun fruit. We have all heard about, in India, even we talk about how jamun fruit has an ability to maintain a blood glucose level. The fruit extract is known in Ayurveda. It has been used since old age. It's been used since ages. It's an age old practice that we've been using, and it has an excellent role to play in supporting the management of increasing blood sugar level. It helps in maintaining our blood sugar level and make sure that our blood sugar level does not increase. So, these 6 ingredients have an active role to play in maintaining our blood glucose level, in maintaining our insulin level. It helps in making sure that our blood glucose level is always normalized and it does not shoot up nor it does not come down. So, what are the key benefits of Glycacare? It supports in healthy blood sugar level, supports the body's natural ability to use the insulin produced by the beta cells of pancreas, effectively manages impaired glucose tolerance, that is IGT. Next is it helps in maintaining healthy lifestyle, helps lowering and controlling blood sugar level, and helps prevent excessive sugar absorption. So, these are the key benefits of Glycacare. It has a unique formulation. It has all the natural dietary extracts present in this product, which is why it helps in normalizing the blood sugar level in a diabetic person. So, anybody with diabetes can take Glycacare as a supplement so that they can always normalize or maintain their blood sugar level. Diabetes is not curable, but diabetes can only be maintained. Therefore, you can avoid lot of other risks or other complicated health conditions. So to maintain your blood sugar level, a diabetic person, along with his diet, along with the good lifestyle habits and taking medication, he should be taking Glycacare supplement, so that your blood sugar level is always normalized and you do not have to face any kind of complications. So this is our product, Glycacare. Glycacare is an excellent product. I am I'm repeating it again and again because it has wonderful unique formulation that has a potential to maintain your blood sugar level. So if you have any feedback to send, if you have any doubts, you can always mail us at stlive@samidirect.com. Make sure that you subscribe and get notification on the products that we would be talking about. Again, I will remind you that no copyright violation will be tolerated. Make sure to tune in to our channel on every Tuesdays and Fridays at 11 AM. Thank you.